Hey, how y'all doing? It's Sharonda, and hey, how y'all doing? And today, I am going to be doing a reading update along with a channel life update as well. So, let's get into this thing, shall we? So, hey, how y'all doing? I hope your work week or just your week in general went great. And I hope you have an even better weekend. So, I'm going to start off with the books that I have read, and I'll do like a kind of like channel life update because the channel life update kind of like blend into one another. I'll do that towards the end of the video. So, but let's just go ahead and get into this. So, I had a pretty good reading week or whatever. It was pretty good. Came across some very interesting books um, for the most part. But yes, so we're going to go ahead and start off with Unleash Me by L. Medeiros. This is a paranormal romance, a shifter romance. And for the most part, I like this book. It was good. I'm not even mad at it. I do wish the book was longer, because she gives us a different breakdown of like shifters, and she does a different explanation of how or why her shifters are the way they are. So I would have preferred, me as a reader, in my opinion, I would have preferred if this book was a little bit longer. But anyway, in this book, we have Lauren, who has decided to ghost her family because they ain't shit. Okay, put her in a bad situation. She was currently engaged to a man who wants shit. So it's just like she just had to get up out of there. But anyway, she is friends with Gage, who she met like, I think they were friends for like the last 2 years or whatever, who she met through like an online cooking class or whatever. So she's telling Gage that she's leaving. She's finally leaving. She's gonna ghost them, her family, her fiance, and all these other things. And Gage just like, hey, stop by where I'm at, before you go on to the next town. So whatever, we can finally meet in person. So with them finally meeting in person, this is how Gage, who is the shifter in this story, finds out that Lauren is his fated mate. Okay. And like I said, for the most part, I like this book. What I really enjoyed about it was the breakdown of the world, and like the shifting that goes on inside of this book. So we have Gage, who is he has a lot going on with him and why he's so powerful as a shifter. Okay, his father's a werewolf, his mother is a witch, but through like a family situation that happened like in the past, he also has vampire blood within him as well. So Gage is very powerful, and he's going through these different transformations. So it was already noted that once he meets his mate, he will go into his last and final transformation. And it was pretty much him becoming a lichen, or he was able to be like a lichen shifter or something that was going on with the story or whatever. So once he finds out that Lauren is his mate, he now has to convince her to stay in this town with him, and that becomes a problem because, again, like I said earlier, Lauren comes from a very difficult past. So she ain't, she's attracted to Gabe, and Gabe is giving the good D, okay, but she don't want to stay. She wants to have her own life, which she has never had. There was that lack of communication situation going on inside of this book. Gabe was very at times heavy-handed with Lauren, not really fully explaining to her why he needed for her to stay in town with him, which is like, what this lady is coming from, so why not just tell her why you need for her to stay? Like, Gabe, like, come on already, okay? Lauren was annoying herself at times because, especially towards the end of the book, where we get it, where he changes her, and she's just being like just very difficult, almost kind of like childish, where she didn't want to like connect with the other members in the pack because Gabe is alpha, so she's going to become queen of the pack, which is what this author decided to name, the female leader of the pack or whatever. And she just did not want to do the mental connection with the other members of the pack. And by the time we get to the end of the book, Gabe is explaining to her, you're going to be my queen, so you need to have connection, a mental connection with the other members of the pack. So you need to meet with them all. And she was just being way too goddamn difficult. I was like, girl. Um, Another thing I wish she would have explained more, because we kind of find out that through her bloodline, Lauren's bloodline, she has some type of paranormal bloodline within her as well. I think it was either witch or shifter. Yeah, her mother was a shifter as well, but her mother kind of like ran away from that. Not ran away, but didn't want to have anything to do with that and all this other stuff. And then it was the story that went on with her sister. And I was just like, okay, so Lauren, if you knew all this, if you like, it's just like the situation between her and her sister. I was just like, so the sister left because the parents was doing bad things, but left Lauren in a bad situation. And Lauren, thinking all this bad shit about her sister, never tried to find out what was going on with her sister. I was just like, what's going on here? It was just very, very crazy. So it was wild to see like her and her sister had kind of like have this hookup and connection at the end of the book, because we're given this narrative about the sister, and then she pops up at the end of the book once Lauren's kind of like made it with Gabe, and in this town with Gabe, and taking on these responsibilities as as co-leader of this pack. So it was just like, well, girl, where were you all this damn time, and trying to drag Lauren up out of there when you should have been dragging her from. It was wild. But for the most part, I did like this book. Like I said, what intrigued me the most, was what drew me to the story the most, was Gabe's and his family's background and why they are the way they are. And but also with those things, I just feel like this book should have been longer, because it would have given us like more explanation on Lauren and her paranormal background. And yeah, so just to put all that stuff at the end, it kind of like felt rushed, kind of like, let's kind of like just throw this in the pot of soup and see how it tastes later, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, pretty decent read. I liked it. And then we have, I read A Phantom Affair by Kimmy Farrell. This is another paranormal romance. You will see a theme throughout this video, okay? This is another paranormal romance. This is more of like a ghostly paranormal romance. And in this book, we have the main male character who kind of find out like his fated mate, his kind of like they're kind of like these star-crossed lovers or whatever, but he's always been having these kind of like erotic dreams about this woman. He doesn't know who the woman is. He's just having these dreams, and it's frustrating the fuck out of him, okay? And his brother, he finally meets her because his brother is having a Halloween slash birthday party or whatever. And during this night, he is able to actually, when his brother is giving the birthday party at a hotel, and it's a very historical hotel, whatever. And by him going to this hotel, he's getting kind of like these recollections and kind of like these flashbacks, like passing out on the floor and shit. All sorts of shit was going on when he stepped inside that hotel. I was like, you know what? Let me just get the hell up on out of here, okay? Because something ain't right, something ain't right. But he comes to find out that the woman that he was dreaming about is a ghost, and her body is kind of like relegated, trapped to that hotel. It's kind of like this whole she did, I think the backstory she did on the main female character and why she is a ghost and why she's relegated to that particular hotel it was just really well done. But I like the whole kind of like romance that happens between them, and she's telling him her backstory on why she is the way she is, and they're actually able to have a night together because she's given like one night out of the year, or a couple of nights out of the year, something like that, like a day and a night, something like that, where she comes, like she has this corporeal, this human form, and this is how they're able to spend like a day and a night together and all that other stuff. So it's a very good romance. I liked it a lot. I just love the vibe between the characters. I love the whole background of the story that she gives. Like the whole Marie Laveau situation going on. So very good story, and I enjoyed it a lot. And shout out to the author, Miss Kimmy Farrell, for giving me a copy of the book. I said I was going to read this book now that we're getting closer to Halloween. I was going, I was going to give it a read then, and I'm glad I did. Very good read. So if you love romances with the whole ghostly situation going on, definitely check this one out. And then we have How to Fail an Annoying Alpha Prince by, I'm sorry, an annoying alpha, how to fail at annoying alpha Faye by Liz E. Cooper. Finally got it right. Okay, this is a mega verse paranormal romance, and I high key I like this book. So in this book we have Melina, who is forced to get married to another Fae. Her and the Fae that she's marrying, their people have always been at war with each other, but now the leaders of both their worlds are deciding that they're going to marry off different Fae within, on their planets or whatever, to kind of like bridge this peace or whatever. So we have Melina, who's she ain't want to get forced to get married, but she can't leave because then the queen would be fucking with her family, and she's just like, oh boy. So when she meets Aaron, she figures what she's going to do is, well, I can't like leave him, divorce him, or anything like that. So I'm just going to annoy him while we're married or whatever. And Melina comes from a very wealthy, privileged family. While Aaron comes from, he's like he's an adult now, of course. So, but he's military, and he doesn't come from wealth or anything, more like a working class family. So, but all these things that Melina is doing inside of the story to annoy Aaron, it's actually turning him on. Like he's like, once Aaron meets Melina, he is very much like, I like her, I'm attracted to her, so I'm going to try to make this work. We do have the whole situation where Aaron is one of those male characters, because of the situation in his past. He just believes he's not deserving of love. So he's going throughout most of the story, for a majority of the story, not majority, for like, the first couple of half of the story, he's telling Melina that, he's willing to do this marriage with her. He's attracted to her, but he could never love her. And that is pissing Melina off because Melina wants to be in a love and marriage. She's just like, like, I just don't want you here because you want to be here. Like, damn, like, we can't even, like, you can't even grow to love me. Like, it was wild because Aaron was wilding. But so we have that situation where they are trying to like work through this marriage, this relationship, and then there's also the backstory of, because the leaders of both their worlds are forcing them to get married. Of course, you have a resistance on both sides, where people don't want this to be happening or whatever. So Alina and Aaron have to find out what's going on and who's trying to sabotage, you know, these marriages and things like that. It's a very interesting read. I liked it. I loved Aaron and Melina together. Reading the Omega verse, it was different. This is my first dive into that subgenre, and I was just like, eyes wide. Okay, eyes pretty much wide. The them, like both of them going into heat. Um, yeah, different, but I liked it. Okay, and I just loved Aaron and Melina together, and I love that they were able to just finally work things out and get things going between them. Very good read. And then I read parts 1 and 2 of Going Down Smooth. This is the Smooth Pack duet by Drea Wells. Okay, first book came out, I believe, like last year. I was going to attempt to read it, but when I saw that it ended on a cliffhanger, and shout out to her for letting readers know in that first book that, hey, this ends in a cliffhanger, and I was like, you know what, I will wait until you put the second book out. And I finally got a chance to read both. I think the second book, I don't even know when the second book was put out, but either way. So basically, inside of this book, we have the main female character who kind of like goes into her omega status late in life, okay? And she always thought she was going to be like alpha, or maybe not alpha. She was just expecting for a life where she comes from a family of alpha omega. She has like 3 dads or whatever, So she comes from that situation. And she would have liked to been in that situation, but she didn't want to be forced into it. So once she goes into her omega status, she's pretty much forced into it, where she's forced to marry. Um, she was gonna marry like her four best friends, like dudes she grew up with. But again, the forcedness of it, she didn't care for, and she runs off, and they let her. Okay, but within the first book, she has to come back because her one of her fathers dies, and the father that dies is actually her paternal father, and he is leaving her a bourbon company. So what's in the story itself, because the second book kind of, not kind of like, but the second book picks up from book two. So what's in this world, that Drea Wells writes, the Omegas are not treated very well inside of this world. So we have it, the main female character. She is kind of like, within these books, she has to fight for her father's for her inheritance that her paternal father left her, this bourbon company. She also, along with the men that she becomes mated with, because when she goes back for her father's funeral, she also comes in contact with these men again, and they are still fated to be together. And then when she comes back, she she goes into heat. Now, she never dealt with her heat or whatever. She was always able to take these suppressants or whatever, where it kind of like suppressed her heat. So she never dealt with it. So when she comes back, she can't get her hands on the suppressants, girl, and it's bad. And it's bad. And these four men, um, they notice it, of course. So they have to help old girl out. And this is how she starts this relationship with them again. Okay, so now that she decides that she's going to be with these four men, because now they have to, like I said, she has to like fight for this, along with them, have to fight for this bourbon company. They're also fighting for omega rights inside of this book, where the women, as well as the omega men, are treated better within this world. For the most part, I like this book. I would say the only thing that I did not like, that even though this was a pack, there was no shifting inside of this book, and that confused the whole hell out of me, because I was like, why is there no shifting? Shouldn't there be shifting inside of this book? But shout out to my girl Tama over at Shades and Pages. She was explaining to me that, sometimes within the Omega universe, even though they are shifters, within some of the stories, the books, the shifters don't shift. And I don't know how I feel about that. I was just like, I need for them to shift. I need for them to shift. I'm not mad at this story. I'm not mad at this series. I actually enjoyed it, but I would have preferred some shifting going up in here. But I will tell you one thing: I like the men's in the pack, and I like she gave her like a different variety of male. So very good series. Liked it a lot, and I love the whole backstory of her, kind of like having like this whole women's right inside of this story, this backstory of basically how women just aren't like treated right in life. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so pretty good series. Liked it, and thank you for letting us know that first book was a cliffhanger, because I'll wait. I will wait. I'm that type of reader. If I really want to read it, at some point in time, I'm gonna get into it. So I can wait. Ain't no need to rush. Pretty good book books. And then we have A Flicker to a Flame by Katrina Jackson. This is a new release for her. This is a paranormal romance as well. And I love this story. This story, it doesn't, there's nothing spooky going on with it. We have paranormal elements because the family inside of this book, we're dealing with the older brother's story inside of this book. This is a queer romance as well, gay romance. The oldest brother, Kato, we get his is the first story to come out of this series by Katrina Jackson. And Mosley has two sisters. The Mosleys are very powerful witches. They come from a very powerful witching family. So inside of this book, we have Kato and his sisters who decide to leave this town that they have all grew up with. And the thing is, with this town, it is closed off to other parts of the world. Like, they don't want the outside in. Stay out. That's pretty much it, because once you're in, you are in. Okay, and when you leave, you cannot come back. They had it at one time that when people left, they could leave and come back, but I guess it was too much back and forth, and the elders was like, cut that shit out right now. Once people leave, they cannot come back. So when folks left town, they not only lost their magic, they also lost their memories. They did not remember anything about this town. And I was like, that's crazy. But anyway, so inside of this book, we have Kato and his sisters who decide to leave the town one night. They make this portal to go to like this little bar or whatever. It kind of like reminded me of like a juke joint. And when they walk in, when they first walk in, they like, it's like old, broke down, dust everywhere, dirty liquor bottles. They like, the fuck is going on here? But once the sisters start, their magic starts taking form and everything starts to light up, and now they have a place that's jumping or whatever. But anyway, and basically within this story you have it where Kato and the sisters, they all kind of like have their fated mated situations this night. And in this book, Flicker to Fame, Kato meets Xavier, and both Kato in Kato, I think I want to say Kato so bad, so I'm going to say Kato. Both Kato and Xavier are just coming from kind of like familiar situations. They are both gay men that have been in relationships. Stop, Mimi. They are both gay men who have been in relationships with other men who just weren't comfortable in their sexuality the way they are. So, they just never had like long, loving, lasting relationships. And both Kato and Xavier are looking for that. They want love. Now, the thing with Kato's magic is he can see parts of the future and he can see death. He could just never see his. He just knew Kato already knew he wasn't going to be around for long. He just didn't know how how he was going to leave this world or whatever. But when he meets Xavier, he sees something in Xavier, and that starts this attraction. This drawings of him to Xavier and Xavier to him. And they just have this really sweet romantic night of just talking about things that could have been and why things are the way they are and things like that. It was just really I just think this was just really like a really beautiful love story between two men who finally find someone where they're able to be comfortable within their own skin, but with the other person. It's kind of like they were always just waiting for each other, but given both their situations, they just finally came back. Were able to meet each other for this one night. And Kato makes the decision because the sisters and the mother thought that Kato was not going to return back, but he makes the decision to go back to town or whatever. But there is a happily ever after for this book. Kato and Xavier do get their happily ever after. It's just not in the way we think it is. But either way, I really enjoyed this book. I actually did a full review on my Instagram page. I will just drop the journal. I did a journal entry in tarot pairing as well, so I'm just going to drop the image right here of what it looks like. If you want to read the full review, you can hop right on over to my Instagram. I will put the link and the details below. You can also get a really good look at the journal page that I created. But this was a very romantic book. Like, just, I loved it. Okay. And what else? And then I read The King of Spring by Colette Carmen. I told y'all this theme was going on inside of this book, okay? I mean, inside of the video. But this is a paranormal romance as well, Greek mythology retelling. And who we got, y'all? Y'all know who I love. Who we got? Hades and Persephone. That's right. Okay. And this is this particular story has a gender bend going on with it. We have Hades, who is a female, and Persephone or Kore, who is male. And basically, inside of this story, we have it where Hades is being forced to marry by her brother Zeus, big ass head, Zeus. Okay, and she's resistant to it. She don't want to do it. Hades is just like, you ain't gonna force me to do nothing. What everything with Zeus marrying off Hades is a power play for him, but she just don't want to do it. But he's trying to force her hand, and Hades is willing to go to war because going against Goose, going against Zeus brings war, to you or whatever. But Hades is willing to do that because she's just like, ain't nobody gonna force me to do shit. Who gonna check me, boo? Okay, so that's pretty much Hades. Okay, but luckily Hades runs into Kore one night. Zeus has summoned her to come to one of his mindless damn parties or whatever, and she runs into Kore one night. So Corey has his own situation going on. Corey is Demeter's son, okay, and the relationship with Demeter is not good. If we from what we know from Demeter's story is Demeter has always birthed girls or whatever, famous Persephone or whatever, okay, but she was never able to birth children in this particular story until she finally does, and is not a girl. She gives birth to a boy, and Demeter is not very happy about that, and it spawns this very abusive relationship that she puts on her son Kore, Persephone. Persephone is kind of like, within this retelling, Persephone is kind of like a image that Demeter wants people to have about her, but Corey is Demeter, okay, and he's just not. He's just like, oh God, I don't want to be here anymore. My mother hates my guts, and I don't even know why. Like, bitch, I ain't asked to be here. I ain't asked to be a boy. Like, what do you want me to do? So when it is put out that Hades is forcing that Zeus is forcing Hades to marry, Corey is just like, I will volunteer for charity. I do it. I'll do it. God damn it, I'll do it. Because that one time that they do run into each other, there is an instant attraction. Corey likes what he sees when he sees Demeter, and when he sees. I'm getting tired. He likes what he sees when he sees Hades, and Hades likes what she sees. So they decide to go into this relationship. Corey decides to become Hades' consort, and we have a relationship that develops between them. I really did enjoy this book. I liked it a lot. I liked the whole gender bend doing it. I like Hades being a woman. She was just so amazing inside of this book. Like, the way she wrote Hades' character was just great. And I loved Corey as well. Like, him just taking care of Hades. And, like, Hades was still a bad bitch. She was still a bad bitch. But Corey was like, that's my woman, and I'm going to take care of her, okay? And things like that. So it's a very good retelling. I liked it a lot. I like that they didn't have any like situations between themselves that kind of like made the relationship difficult or anything. It was always these outside influences that went on with them. This is another book that I did a full review on my Instagram. Again, here's the journal entry and tarot pairing that I did. If you want to check out the review and get a better image of what the journal page looks like, it is here for you. But I like this book. It was just really just a really well done story. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what she does with this series and to the next book, because what she did with Hades and Persephone, very good. And she had me liking Zeus just a little bit, because I can't stand Zeus, but she had me liking Zeus just a little bit. Okay, and last but not least, I read Kingdom by W.S. Greer. This is a BDSM romance. I like this book. It was very interesting. Basically, we have Alina, who goes into a BDSM relationship with her favorite author. So Alina has this author who writes BDSM stories, and he writes them so well. She's like one of those readers. Like soon as you put out a book, she in a bookstore getting it, and she gets the opportunity to meet him. His name was Nathan. She gets the opportunity to meet Nathan when her friends buy her like tickets to like a meet and greet, to meet the author and all this other stuff, and like they have their attraction going on, whatever. And basically, she decides to go inside of a BDSM relationship with Nathan. Nathan just does not write about the lifestyle. He is in the lifestyle. So he becomes Alina's teacher inside of this book. So like I say, even though I enjoyed this book, I would have appreciated it more if he would have gave us um Nathan's point of view. We're getting Alina's point of view inside of the story. I would have appreciated it more if he gave us Nathan's point of view, especially giving us a male character's perspective written by a male author. That would have been like phenomenal for me. Okay, I like Lauren. She wasn't too annoying. I'm sorry, Alina. She wasn't too annoying or anything like that. I liked her. She didn't get on my nerves, and she was not putting up with Nathan's crap. Now, while I was reading this book, I was just like, something about Nathan ain't rubbing. It's just like I was getting this niggling in the back of my mind, like, this is too good to be true. This is too goddamn true to be true. Which was Alina friends was telling her, like, girl, you leaving everything and everybody getting to work late, getting home late. Like, wake up, girl. Wait, like, we know you full of dick, but you got to get it together, okay? So she's Lauren, not Lauren. I keep wanting to call her Lauren, but that's not her name. Alina. I'm tired, y'all. But Alina is kind of like, she's not struggling, but Nathan isn't fully committing to what they have going on. She wants him to name a thing, and he's not naming a thing, and her friends is just like, So we have that kind of like going on. But like I said, I was getting this, like, while I was reading, I was like, something's not right. Like, I don't know. He wasn't giving me the heebie jeebies, but I was just like, something's gonna pop up. It's just gonna make me be looking at this man sideways. But I'm not going to tell what it is, but something does pop up. It kind of like affects their relationship. Nathan is made to do some things to get back in Alina's good favor, but we do get a happily ever after for these two. I like the book. I think it was a well written book. I think he did a very good job with the characters. The BDSM elements he handled very, very well. It looks like he did his research, or the author himself, is in the lifestyle. I don't know, but he did a very good job of handling the topics inside of the story. He does give you content and trigger warnings in here. There are some themes inside of this story that some readers may be uncomfortable in reading. There's knife play. There's kind of like a great role play situation that happens. So just read if you decide to read the book, just read the content trigger warnings before you make that decision, because like I said, there are a lot of situations that are going on inside of this book that a lot of readers would not be comfortable with. But yeah, that's my reading update for what I have been reading. I have fun. Like I said, majority, you see the theme, right? Majority of the books was paranormal, mega things like that. I'm just going inside that phase right now. Love contemporary romance, but it is like I am getting like kind of like exhausted of it, especially we're getting stories with the same same storyline, same male characters, same da 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 da. So I need a twist. Okay. So yeah, I just been switching up on what I've been reading, and I've been liking what I've been reading so far. Okay. A life channel update. So right about now, I took on another job, so I work nights as well. So that's why my videos, I was trying to get it to where I'm at least posting at least 2 or 3 videos a week, but that's just not going to happen. I'm I'm older now. My body is just like mm-mm. So it's probably just gonna be like 1 or 2 videos during the weekend, one Saturday, one Sunday, or maybe just one video during the weekend, Saturday or either Sunday. It just really depends on how tired and worn out I am. But yeah, so that's pretty much the life channel update. Um, I had made the decision like, yeah, I'm going to try to put out more content, so I can at least get my follower count up, and at least just try to do some interesting videos. But, it's just like, I just be like, you saw me like mangling names and things like that. Like, I just be like, I'm just tired a lot now, so I just have to give my body a rest. And since I'm off weekends, it's just better to do these videos, on the weekends, during the weekends, where I can at least get my mind right. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I understand, like, especially when you have a small channel, like, you have to put the content out there, you know more, so that you can get the followers and things like that. But it's just like, yeah, the way my life is set up right now is it's it's just not gonna happen. And then, like, most of the times when I'm coming in from work on Friday, into Saturday morning, I'm in the shower and I'm laying down and I'm not up until like 12 o'clock is the earliest I can wake up sometimes. So yeah, and then Sundays it's just, you know it's chill time. So yeah. But yeah, that is life channel update. So videos every Saturday and Sunday, or every Saturday or Sunday. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's either going to either go down to either 2 videos on the weekend or 1 video on the weekend. It's just that it's just as is what it has to be right now until something changes, and it would probably be a while for that. So I hope you guys continue to follow. I hope you guys continue to check out my content. Yeah, that is it for me. And until the next one, later days. Bye.